So, good afternoon everyone, welcome. Today we will be discussing the weekly current affairs for international relations and culture. I'm Surbhi Sardana and I'll be taking current affairs from August 25 to August 31. If you can hear me, if the audio is clear, if the video is proper, just send me a thumbs up in the chat section below and then we'll start with today's session. Just ping there or send a thumbs up, good afternoon, anything that you feel like, so that we know that all good. Okay, good afternoon Shreyans. Okay, so we have few people live also available here, present here. So देखते हैं आज का index क्या है. What are the topics that we need to cover from the previous 1 week, which are very important from our exam point of view. We'll deal with all the topics holistically. Okay, good afternoon everyone. Now we are just beginning with the discussion. So we have broadly 4 topics. 4 ऐसे important topics हैं जो पिछले एक हफ्ते में culture और international relations के perspective से आए हैं. The first one is the Anangtal Lake. The second is the Chola Dynasty idols. Particularly idols उतने important नहीं है, but how does this system work? Why are some idols here and there in news every week? हर हफ्ते किसी न किसी idol जो मिली होती है किसी foreign museum में उसकी news क्यों आती है and how it is dealt with. Third is the India-Bangladesh river sharing MOU. Memorandum of understanding has been signed. There was this 38th joint river committee meeting that was held. So we'll see what happened there and we'll also look at India-Bangladesh relations briefly. Then we have the West Seti power project of Nepal. Nepal has given us 2 power projects, 2 hydroelectric power projects, and we'll look at how things are moving ahead. But if you're associated with Raj IAS Academy, this is the website of Raj IAS Academy, and if you're preparing for civil services, you can join this daily answer writing initiative. The question for day 54, that is today, this question has been uploaded on the website. The link to this question is present in the description of this video. The question is, the Chola period marks a distinct and significant period in the art and architecture of India. Explain and answer in 250 words. See, this is a question from your static part of syllabus. ये current affairs से नहीं है, but because Chola Dynasty has been in news for quite a while now, that's why this question has been taken as it is important for your mains exam. Let's begin with the topic. The first topic is Anangtal Lake. As you can see, this is a news from Indian Express. Anangtal Lake has been declared a monument of national importance. And recently the Lieutenant Governor and they visited this particular lake. It is located inside Sanjay Van. So why is this lake important? ये lake कहाँ है? इतनी importance क्यों है? And how can it create change in the coming future with regards to climate crisis and the water availability? So this is basically the first thing that you have to remember is कि एक traditional water tank है. Anangtal is named after a ruler Anangpal II. Yes, Anangpal Tomar, he was the ruler who created this lake. If you are aware of Raja Prithviraj Chauhan was the successor of this particular ruler. इनके grandson थे Prithviraj Chauhan, and he is considered responsible for establishing the city of Delhi as we see today. So he was popularly known as Anangpal Tomar as he belonged to the Tomar dynasty, and he founded not Delhi but Dhilikapuri. Dhilikapuri नाम से एक जगह इन्होंने बनाई थी जो कि दिल्ली में convert हो गई. So that is his importance. And how did we get to know about it? First thing that you have to remember is the first director of Archaeological Survey of India, Lord Cunningham or Alexander Cunningham. He excavated many inscriptions. बहुत सारे इन्होंने coins या inscriptions निकाले जिससे हमें पता लगा कि जो अनंगताल लेक है और the place called Dhilikapuri or Delhi was actually founded by this particular ruler Anangpal Tomar. So the inscriptions and coins suggest that Anangpal Tomar was the ruler of present day Delhi. He was the ruler of Delhi and Haryana between 8th to 12th century. Medieval India के time पे, medieval ages में, he was the ruler of Delhi and he was succeeded by his grandson Prithviraj Chauhan. So now we studied about the historical significance of this lake, but अब क्यों recognize किया जा रहा है इस lake को as you know a national monument? So first of all, this has been recognized as a national monument through a gazette notification of Ministry of Culture. First of all, the ministry is important कि कौन सी ministry designate करती है. So Ministry of Culture has designated it as a monument of national importance. It is located towards South Delhi. Briefly आपको location पता होनी चाहिए. It is located towards South Delhi and to the north of Jogmaya temple. Again, not very important, but northwest to the Qutub complex. Qutub complex के पास है. So it is also believed that Alauddin Khilji, when he was expanding, when he built Qutub Minar and extended the Qutub ul Islam mosque, he took water from this lake. Now, why are we focusing on this lake? If you know medieval rulers took water from this lake, तो अभी क्या importance है? The significance of recognizing it as a national monument now is first of all the water crisis of Delhi. Delhi में ऐसे बहुत सारे ancient water reservoirs हैं, बाउडीज हैं, you know छोटी छोटी streams हैं, which if recognized can solve the water crisis problem in Delhi, and this can be the first step towards understanding the importance of these small water harvesting techniques or sites which actually conserve water. So Delhi is primarily dependent on water supply from outside reservoirs. Delhi के अंदर कोई reservoirs नहीं है. Delhi में जो पानी है वो बाहर से आता है. And we know the kind of pollution, the kind of high level of temperatures that we see in Delhi. It has also been realized, it has also been shown through data कि आने वाले कुछ सालों में Delhi is going to become the one of the 21 Indian cities which will have no groundwater. Groundwater level एकदम zero हो जाएगा आने वाले time में. So Delhi will not be self-sufficient in its water needs. Water की जो requirements है वो बाहर से पूरी करनी पड़ेगी. So if this restoration can happen of this small traditional water reservoir, as you can see, this is a very small water reservoir. अंदर farming भी हो जाती है because it has completely dried up. So if this can be restored, if it can be cleaned up, and इसमें अगर पानी दोबारा से इकट्ठा होने लगता है, and Delhi के आसपास के जो भी areas हैं, if there are many such reservoirs in Delhi, if they can be recognized as national monuments or monuments of national importance, then they can be restored. Their water can aid a lot of biodiversity. Pollution levels कम हो सकते हैं, and in dry times, since Delhi is running out of water, in dry times water needs can also be sufficed through these particular reservoirs. So basically it is kind of a stepping stone to recognizing more such reservoirs. We have step wells in Delhi, a lot of baulis are there, deep wells and ponds are there, johards are there. As the earlier cities, जो दिल्ली में जो पहले लोग रहते थे वो यमुना पे रिलाई नहीं करते थे, वो इन छोटे छोटे वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग टेक्निक्स के ऊपर या इन छोटे छोटे चीज़ों के ऊपर रिलाई करते थे जहाँ से पानी आता था. सो रिकॉग्निशन ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर लेक इज़ वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट इन द लॉन्ग रन टू प्रिवेंट पोल्यूशन, टू सप्लाई water to Delhi and surrounding areas. So this was your first topic, Untitled Lake. We discussed about historical importance, about its climatic importance and importance right now. Before moving on to the next topic, just let me know if you have any doubts. And then we'll begin. Idol Wing submits papers to retrieve 6 stolen Chola era idols from USA. अगर आप regularly current affairs follow कर रहे हैं, if you have been following current affairs regularly, you might have seen such news, especially in the Hindu newspaper from time to time. एक के बाद एक ऐसी न्यूज़ आती है कि कहीं से कोई ना कोई आइडल रिट्रीव हो गई, वेदर इट्स फ्रॉम साउथ ईस्ट एशिया, समटाइम्स फ्रॉम इंडोनेशिया, समटाइम्स फ्रॉम सम म्यूजियम्स ऑफ डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज. कभी कुछ लंदन के किसी म्यूजियम में कोई आइडल मिलती है, कभी यूएसए में मिलती है. सो व्हाट इज दिस कॉन्सेप्ट अबाउट एंड व्हाई डू न्यूज़पेपर्स मेक अ हेडलाइन आउट ऑफ इट? सो बेसिकली इंडियन temples or temples belonging to any religion in India, many of them have gold idols या अष्टधातु की idols होती हैं, and they are very expensive, not for the rate of gold that they contain in them, for example these idols also. So not only for the rate of gold or metal inside them, but because they are very old and they have a lot of cultural significance. तो जितनी चीज़ पुरानी हो जाती है उतना ज़्यादा उसका इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में प्राइजेस भी बढ़ जाते हैं. So not necessarily that these idols are of gold only or of ashtadhatu only, but they can be made out of stone also. And they can be of great cultural significance for the people who are staying there. For example, if it is an idol of a temple, for example, these idols which have now been found, they belong to the Veeracholapuram temple of Tamil Nadu. So this is a very old temple, like बहुत ही पुराना temple है, and idols की बहुत ही cultural significance होती है. That's why if you go to like ancient temples or old temples, you'll see that there is a lot of security there, because people see gods in them, people believe in such idols, and the cultural जो significance है वो बहुत ज़्यादा important होती है. So first of all, if these idols are so expensive, these will be expensive in the black market also, because otherwise they cannot be sold like that. So many a times these idols are stolen. बहुत बारी चोरी कर ली जाती हैं ये idols. कई बारी police officials locate bhi nahi kar pate, police officials are not able to locate them, and these idols are sold in the international black market. So there are many NGOs working in this regard. Police officials काम करते हैं. In fact, if you see, there is this idol wing. तमिलनाडु गवर्नमेंट हैज क्रिएटेड आइडल विंग. एक स्पेशल टीम बनाई गई है सीआईडी के अंदर, एक स्पेशल सेपरेट टीम है टू लोकेट आइडल्स विच हैव बीन स्टोलन, टू ब्रिंग देम बैक टू इंडिया. सो सच इज द लेवल, और इतने लेवल की ये प्रॉब्लम है, इतनी बड़ी ये प्रॉब्लम है, दैट अ सेपरेट टीम हैड टू बी क्रिएटेड. So from time to time a lot of idols are located, and then the governments of both the countries request each other that this is something that belongs to the people of India, that belongs to a particular temple in India, so send them back to us. And these are done through a mutual legal assistance treaty. So mutual legal assistance treaties, they are signed between various countries. बहुत सारी countries में आपस में mutual legal assistance treaties sign की जाती हैं. What are these treaties? These we'll do them right now. बेसिकली अभी जो आइडल्स लोकेट की गई हैं, द आइडल्स दैट हैव बीन लोकेटेड राइट नाउ आर इन अ म्यूजियम. किसी एक म्यूजियम में फाइंड की गई हैं इन यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका. सो द म्यूजियम बॉट देम, और somebody sold it to them, or they were auctioned in some international auction, and then museum has them placed there. So Tamil Nadu government through the central government has requested यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स की गवर्नमेंट को उन्होंने रिक्वेस्ट किया that these are the idols that belong to Veeracholapuram temple and send them back to us, because we have a mutual legal assistance treaty with United States of America. Under these types of treaties, whatever crimes are being conducted in India or in United States of America, through which some information given by the other country can help support fight that crime. For example, idols चोरी हो गई, if USA supports it, then this crime can be stopped, and further crimes, they can be demotivated and idols can be brought back. So basically information exchange करते हैं. अगर किसी country ने कुछ action carry out करना है under this treaty to prevent crimes in the other country where this treaty has been signed. So that is how it works. So basically, one such treaty is the mutual legal assistance treaty, in which in criminal matters ratified by the president in 2005, and basically it is about international cooperation between the countries to help minimize crime at an international level. So this was about MLAT, mutual legal assistance treaty. Now what they are saying is the idol wing of Tamil Nadu, they are saying that we have been taking a soft approach, because this Indian subcontinent had one of the first civilizations, almost first civilization जो पूरी दुनिया में हुई थी, वो इंडिया में establish हुई थी, one of the first. So obviously we have a lot of antiquities. बहुत सारे ऐसे idols हैं, बहुत सारे ऐसे manuscripts हैं जो कि इंडिया में कितनी जगह हैं, जो कि some of them are not even in the notice of government. So when they are stolen, that is the time when their importance is realized. And when we go to such developed countries, for example, we are requesting USA. Many times developed countries do not send back those idols, because they belong to some private museum in the United States of America. So sometimes even the government does not have power. So they say that we have been taking a soft approach. We are playing soft diplomacy when it comes to restoring our antiquities or ancient idols. What we should take is, we should take a hard approach, because nations like Italy and Cambodia, they have successfully initiated criminal proceedings in the United States courts, and उन criminal proceedings को fight करके inside the United States of America itself, they have been able to restore many of the idols and antiquities. So that is what they are requesting, that we cannot look weak by just taking support of such treaties. So soft diplomacy could be a long-term option, but we need to file cases also, especially the temple authorities can file a suit because the idols belong to that particular temple. Here one act is very important, the Antiquities and Art Treasures Act of 1972. This act is enacted to regulate the export trade in antiquities and art. ये act के according कोई भी अगर antiquity, कोई भी idol, manuscript, painting, कुछ भी इस act के अंडर अगर इसके अंडर recognized है, if something is recognized under this act, then international trade of that particular item cannot take place except by central government or the authority authorized by the central government to export this antiquity or art treasure. So this is some act that you need to remember. Prelims में एक MCQ में पूछा जा सकता है that how are these antiquities protected. And the things covered under this act are sculptures जो छोटी मूर्तियाँ होती हैं, paintings are there and manuscripts are there. And these they can belong to any of the religions, just specify करना चाहिए. That's all, and let's learn in a short detail about the Chola dynasty. If you have read culture, you might know that Chola dynasty was one of the longest ruling dynasties in South India. Cholas defeated Pallavas to come into power in 9th century. So around, and they ruled for around 5 long centuries. So in the north, as we studied, that Anangpal Tomar was the ruler around 12th century. In the south, around these centuries, Cholas were ruling. So the north and south, they are separated by Vindhyas. There was one very particular king who actually crossed and reached to the Ganga River. And he was known as the victor of Ganges. He was known as Rajendra Chola I. He was the higher or successor of Raja Raj Chola. Rajendra Chola I, he crossed the Ganges River and he reached to the banks of Ganga River and accessed a lot of territory on his way. He was known as Gangae Konda Cholapuram, victor of Ganga, या जिसने गंगा को गंगा तक जीत लिया हो. Territory was up to there, and he established a new capital near Tamil Nadu called the Gangae Konda Cholapuram, and because he received the title of Gangae Konda. So after his name, he established that capital. There is a very important temple that was built by him and बहुत ही अच्छा architectural marvel माना जाता है उस temple को. That is known as the Brihadishvara temple. And this Chola age is known as the golden age of South India or medieval India. So this was about this particular ruler. If you remember, the Sangam literature that was developed in the when Cholas were ruling in towards South India. Also Bhakti movement भी इसी time में आई थी South India में. So that is something, timeline is very important when you're studying ancient or medieval history, that what was happening in different parts of India in this particular century. So उसी के basis पर match the following answers भी आते हैं. If you're sitting for any other exams except for Union Public Service Commission's Civil Services examination, then this much information would be enough for you. So also Cholas established Indian subcontinent या जो southern India था as a very huge, as a very strong economic, political and military power. उन्होंने अपना जो rule है South East Asia तक भी extend किया था by crossing the ocean. So the PDF of this presentation will be available on our Telegram channel after this lecture in a few minutes. So you can take your notes from there. You don't have to write anything right now. If there are any doubts regarding these two topics, let me know. Let me know in the comment section or the chat section. Yes, Nanu, used material might not be very much costly. They could be made out of some stone. But if people regard those ideals as holy. अगर किसी चीज़ की बहुत मान्यता होती है तो वो चीज़ important हो जाती है. For example, old coins also or old inscriptions. Inscriptions क्या होता है? There are some places where stones are found and messages are written on them, and these messages they belong to medieval times or ancient times. So why do we store these inscriptions in museums? Because our cultural heritage is carried forward by such things. So whether they are idols, whether they are manuscripts, or whether they are paintings, inscriptions, anything, these they hold a very big cultural importance for a country. See, we know our history because of these inscriptions or because of these idols. If we, if we have idols of Proto Shiva from Indus Valley civilization, or गॉडेस की काफ़ी सारी मूर्तियाँ इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन से मिली हैं, और वी हैव द डांसिंग गर्ल ऑल्सो. सो व्हाट डू these might not be made out of gold. Many stone idols have also been found from IBC, but what happens is that since we have these idols, we have a history to look back upon. We can define our present because of the history that we have, and this history is defined by the inscriptions or the idols that we have been able to find. तो इनकी time के साथ जो value होती है, monetary value is very high. These antiquities, they are mostly auctioned. एक्चुअल रेट उतना नहीं होगा, गोल्ड नहीं होगा, डायमंड्स नहीं लगे होंगे, बट दे हैव अ वेरी बिग रेट इन इंटरनेशनल मार्केट बिकॉज ऑफ द कल्चरल सिग्निफिकेंस एंड बिकॉज ऑफ द हिस्टोरिकल सिग्निफिकेंस. Harshal, we have been receiving sculptures from United Kingdom also, because in the British era a lot of sculptures were taken to the United Kingdom. From USA also a lot of museums have been sending us idols, and many a times it is a news of national importance. So every news might not be important. You might not be asked in exam that from where have we got sculptures recently, but understanding the importance with regards to culture and understanding the importance of dynasty. For example, Chola Dynasty की वो idols हैं जो कि अभी recognize किए गए हैं. So that is very important, and what are the rules and regulations that govern all this arrangement. So since Tamil Nadu has a lot of states have this idol wing or manuscripts find out करने के लिए separate है based on the religious significance of what they have. क्या antiquities है उस state में, और अगर कुछ ज़्यादा चोरी हो गई हैं. For example, this Tamil Nadu idol wing, this was also formed around in 1974. They realized that so many idols have been stolen from our state, and they are of so much cultural significance that we need to have a separate team to investigate and to find out. So basically it comes under international crime only if idols are stolen. If you are somebody who stays in Himachal Pradesh, there are a lot of ancient temples and temples belonging to medieval age. So, and sometimes the security is not very strong because local significance बहुत होती है, but as a country we do not realize, and then these idols get stolen, get exported to, and they are taken to countries like Nepal through porous borders or to other countries, and hence we lose something that holds a lot of cultural significance for us, that is holy for us. So that is it, that is all about it. So let's move on to the next topic. If there are any other doubts, just let me know. Okay, so two topics we've taken with regards to culture. Now the next two topics are with regards to international relations. दोनों ही rivers के regarding है. The first one is about river sharing agreement or river sharing memorandum of understanding between India and Bangladesh. The second one is about a hydroelectric power project with that is the West Seti and Seti power project in Nepal. So this was the headline in Indian Express. A lot of newspapers covered it. Delhi, Dhaka discuss sharing of river waters. This text was finalized during 38th meeting of the ministerial level Joint Rivers Commission. See, Joint Rivers Commission is a commission that is formed between India and Bangladesh. Why? Because 54 rivers are there which are common to India and Bangladesh. India और Bangladesh के बीच rivers and tributaries मिला के there are 54 of them. So India is an upper riparian state. If India stops water at the upper level, हम कोई dam बना देते हैं, then there could be droughts in Bangladesh. And if there is in the season of monsoons, India opens the gates of dams or lets the water flow through a river, then there could be floods in Bangladesh, and we know that floods are very rampant in Bangladesh. So to secure the benefit and welfare of people of both the nations, this joint river commission has been formed. जो areas affected होते हैं दोनों countries, both respective countries take suggestions or advices from those states also, those districts also, leaders of those parties also. But this joint river commission is very much important whenever a river sharing agreement takes place. That is because of these meetings that happen. So this was the 38th ministerial level joint rivers commission meeting, and again it was more important because इनकी जो meeting है, this JRC meeting, it was held after 12 years, 12 long years. Between this time we did not have a meeting of JRC, only formal talks were being held. So MOU has been signed for sharing of Kushiara River waters. Kushiara River, where is it located? So basically Kushiara River, we'll read it and then I'll show you on the map. It is a distributary river in Bangladesh and Assam. North East Indian territory से flow कर कर बांग्लादेश में जाती है, and it is a distributary of Barak River that flows through Manipur. So it is Barak River, basically two rivers में separate हो जाती है. Barak River separates or distributes itself into Kushiara and Surma, and let's see how does it happen. So basically if two rivers merge, if two small rivers merge and they form a bigger river, then these two rivers are known as tributaries of that particular river. If one big river separates into two small rivers, then these two small rivers are known as distributaries of that first river. So Barak is here in Manipur. You have here in blue, Barak is flowing. And towards the northeast part of Bangladesh, this Barak distributes itself into two rivers, Surma and Kushiara. So in any case, in MCQs, if you are asked what are the tributaries of Barak River, then Surma and Kushiara are not the tributaries, they are the distributaries of this river. From now onwards, you should just remember it, because anywhere before your exam, you will be learning tributaries. So this will help you a lot in your MCQ questions. And if you want to know about the exact location, here in Manipur in the northeast India, and this is your Bangladesh. This area is your Bangladesh, and from here Barak separates into Surma and Kushiara rivers. So I hope the location is now clear to you. Yes. So discussions, they were held on a number of issues. River की sedimentation बहुत problem होती है. River pollution is a lot of problem. Pollution might be caused by the upper riparian state also, and it goes to the lower riparian areas. For example, अगर India से pollution बांग्लादेश में जा रहा है, so that would be a problem. So a lot of discussions were held on issues of mutual interest. First of all was about water sharing of common rivers. How much water sharing is taking place, that is of no importance to you, because ये बहुत ही major river नहीं है. The sharing of flood data, very important, especially in months of drought, before monsoon, जब पानी खत्म हो जाता है rivers में, this data is very important कि ऊपर वाले area से कितना पानी आ रहा है. If India sends that data to Bangladesh, and then how much help can they get? They can arrange water resources from elsewhere if they know that the water level in that particular river is not enough to support the water needs of our population which are staying in Bangladesh. Addressing river pollution, again a very big problem. Conducting joint studies on sedimentation management. See, agar northeast में, for example in Manipur, the boundary for river ends in Manipur and then it enters Bangladesh. But sedimentation of river, उसकी research तो proper river के लिए करनी पड़ेगी ना, from the place where it starts to place where it ends. Only then a thorough research can be carried out. So rivers do not follow any borders. Rivers, birds, natural resources do not follow any borders. It's us human beings and nations who have to create agreements, who have to adjust to the flows of such rivers and adjust our agreements accordingly. So river bank protection works will be there, and again just I told you that it is very significant because after 12 years this JRC has come to a meeting point. Now as I told you, there are 54 rivers that are shared between India and Bangladesh, out of which 7 have been identified earlier for developing the framework of water sharing. There is there are a lot of agreements for sharing of Teesta River or Teesta River waters, Brahmaputra River waters. So this is again a new one, MOU नया है. Let's cover in brief some relations, some important political, trade relations and defense relations between India and Bangladesh in brief. So if you have any problem with the mapping part, if you are still not able to understand what is a distributary or where the river is located, just let me know in the chat section. And then we are beginning with the with the India-Bangladesh relations. Okay. So Bangladesh was carved out of Pakistan. Pakistan से अलग हुआ था in 1971 war, Indo-Pak war जो हुई थी, उसके बाद Bangladesh was formed. So obviously India was one of the first countries which recognized Bangladesh as a separate nation. So India was one of the first countries to recognize Bangladesh and establish democratic relations immediately after its independence in December 1971. Our relations have been very friendly with Bangladesh except for the Chittagong port जो कि बांग्लादेश ने चाइना को लीज पर दिया हुआ है. China is developing that port. That is something we do not like because that is a part of string of pearls. So we do not like China's presence so near to us, especially in the Indian Ocean, especially in Bay of Bengal. So otherwise our relations with Bangladesh have been very friendly. Internationally we meet each other. हम लोग बहुत cooperation करते हैं on these forums like SAARC, BIMSTEC, which is Bay of Bengal Initiative for International Trade, and cooperation, culture, trade, terrorism, everything is discussed under this. Then you have the Indian Ocean Coastal Region Cooperation Association, and Commonwealth is there. Obviously it is there because both the countries were ruled by Britishers at one point of time. Then if you come to trade and investment, most part जो trade है बांग्लादेश का, that is jute industry. Jute industry है, jute plantations है, तो जो कि textiles है, textiles है जो कपड़े से related चीजें हैं, they are of major, yes, famous for some forgotten freedom fighters also. Chittagong is famous for them. So basically jute plantations है, jute industry है बांग्लादेश में, so they make a lot of textiles. कपड़ा जो है बहुत बनता है and they export textiles. So 80% of Bangladesh's economy is dependent upon this textiles. So Bangladesh is India's biggest trade partner in South Asia. South Asia mein, if you see the level of trade that is happening here, we are not talking about imports or exports, we are talking about the total monetary value or total volume of trade. So it is our biggest partner in South Asia when it comes to trade, and these are the figures. Again, they keep on changing. Bangladesh ki jo success hai, it comes mainly from as an exporter of garments which account for around 80% of its total exports, not 80% of GDP, but 80% of total exports that happen through Bangladesh are of garments, textiles या जो stitched कपड़े होते हैं उनके. Power and energy cooperation. So power and energy cooperation, if you look at the location of Bangladesh, it does not have a lot of natural resources which it can use for power generation. जो कि rivers हैं, they flow from India to Bangladesh. So Bangladesh is basically a net importer of power or electricity from India. So Bangladesh is currently importing 1160 megawatt of power from India. Again, figures are not very important. You just need to know who is importing and where are we exporting electricity, all that. That's all. There is multimodal connectivity through train. बहुत सारी trains जाती हैं कुछ, there is this Bandhan Express, Maitri Express and Mitali Express. And then there is a bus service also. And most importantly, we have defense cooperation. Though exercises hoti hain, the first one is for army, the second one is for navy, which are conducted between India and Bangladesh on an annual basis. The first is exercise Sampriti, if you can see on top in the red there, exercise Sampriti, and the second one is exercise Milan, that is of navy. So again, very important for your MCQs point of view. Then comes capacity building and human resource development. We train defense officials for Bangladesh. We train civil services officers of Bangladesh. We carry out a lot of events which help in strengthening the shared culture of Bangladesh and India. So that was about your India-Bangladesh relations in brief. Also, if there are any doubts regarding this topic, just let me know in the chat section, and then we'll move to our last topic. See, cultural relations, if you see, cultural relations can date back to when this partition of Bengal took place. Partition of Bengal, when it was, taking place, it was carried out by Lord Curzon. You can take back cultural relations to the 20th century also, that there was shared culture, Hindu-Muslim community shared that common brotherhood, that spirit of common brotherhood. Both the communities were living happily, and somewhere the freedom movement of India, or the entire Indian subcontinent from colonial rule, that has its seeds there in this part of area. So, okay, Rohit. So, we'll move on to the important power projects that Nepal has given to us. These two power projects, basically, they had to be developed by China, but China did not develop them due to some reasons. So, Nepal has given them to us. First of all, if you see the location of Nepal, you will see that on the top, on the northern side, it is surrounded by China, and on the southern side, it is surrounded by India. So, it is basically sandwiched or landlocked between China and India. And the sad part is that China and India do not share very good relations with each other. So, sometimes Nepal says, and Nepal has a lot of rivers flowing through them, and these are Himalayas. नेपाल में Himalayas हैं, they are a very high size, they are a very big size, बहुत height है इन Himalayas की. So it is a very good, place for developing hydroelectricity. But Nepal in itself is not a very rich nation, so it actually gives some hydroelectric power projects to other countries, and these two countries mainly are China and India. So for Nepal, we have been carrying out many infrastructural projects also in the past, and China has also been doing it. So there is a kind of competition that has loomed for a very long period of time in how much presence does India have in Nepal, kaun se projects India ne develop kiye hain, and that is always in competition with what projects China is developing. So basically, Nepal is not a very rich country. They need to export something, they need to boost their economy, लोगों को poverty से बाहर लाना है, and it is a very new democracy. पहले monarchy था, now it is a democracy. So to bring that out, they recognize that they have those natural resources. बहुत सारी rivers flow करती हैं, and hydroelectric power project potential is very high in Nepal. So what they do is they sell off electricity to India. China does not need electricity. China does not need to buy electricity from any other country. India needs electricity. We have one of the largest populations of the world, and we do not have that kind of power generating potential as of now. We have, targets of generating power from renewable resources, and hydroelectric energy up to some megawatt is renewable. So what we do is we take projects on lease in countries like Nepal, and we buy electricity from there. So recently Nepal has given us two power projects. So we'll read this entire news. Nepal has reportedly awarded two power projects. The first one is West Seti Hydropower Project, and the second one is Seti River Hydropower Project. They're very close, and they are being awarded to a leading company nearly 4 years after China withdrew from the projects. So again, very important. This is the location of your Seti River. This is Nepal in green. In dark green, you can see Nepal here. I'll zoom it for you. So here, southwest, northwest Nepal, we have Nainital here in Uttarakhand, and this is the boundary of Nepal. This is your Karnali River that is flowing, and this is your Seti River. Seti River इधर Karnali को join कर लेती है. It joins Karnali River, and here exactly where this red spot is your West Seti Dam located. So creating a dam or producing electricity from a dam is a very expensive project, and Nepal as a small country cannot fund all these projects in its state. It just wants somebody to do it for them and purchase electricity so that they can get the money out of it. And India, having those big brother relations and having the need for electricity, is doing that for Nepal for many other projects also. So India is a market for Nepal's electricity, hence more revenue generation for Nepal through these projects. So win-win situation है दोनों के लिए. Let's read about river Seti. So Seti River or Seti Gandaki River is also known as the Seti Chola. So it is a river in western Nepal, as we just saw, and it originates from the glaciers around the twin peaks of Api and Nampa in the south facing slopes of main Himalayas. See, remembering the glaciers of this river might not be important because India se utna flow nahi karti, but it can help you in elimination in your MCQ. So if you have read this news, you will know that what is the river that originates from these glaciers. The area is near the tri-junction of the borders of Nepal, India and China. Then it finally joins the Karnali River or Ghagra River. This Karnali River, as I just showed you. Then it comes to India. So Nepal has a very huge hydroelectric generation potential, which is 83,000 megawatt. Again, data is not very important, but you should be in awe that this is the potential that Nepal has for hydroelectric power generation. And these are the companies which have been taking part from India in carrying out in these projects, जो कि projects नेपाल में sign होते हैं. These two are the companies from Indian side which have been participating. So earlier also we had these Arun 4 power project was there, which was jointly developed by India on the Arun river in Nepal. So this is all for today. This was a very short news. Mapping part is very important. हर एक छोटा project important नहीं होगा नेपाल के साथ, but if you are sitting for interview, you should remember what are the projects that are there in news. Secondly, if you are sitting for prelims, then you should be aware about the mapping part, or where do these rivers originate, what are the tributaries and distributaries. If you are sitting for mains, then you should be aware of the relations. For example, these could these fall under the head of economic relations between India and Nepal. So that's all for today, and if there are any doubts, let me know in the chat section. Otherwise, we'll call it a day. So, all right, then I'll see you next week on Wednesday. And also do participate in Seize the Mains. Every day we are carrying out answer writing discussion at 9 p.m. on our Telegram channel, on our YouTube channel. The PDF for this presentation, for this entire discussion, will be available on Telegram channel, Raj Malhotra IAS Academy, that is the name, and it will be available there, so you can. Yes, Rohit, Nepal is giving electricity to India, while we are giving electricity to Bangladesh. So Bangladesh is a net importer of electricity, and Nepal actually exports electricity to us. So thank you all of you. I'll see you next week with the science and tech, geography and environment discussion. Keep working hard and stay blessed.